This conference will now be recorded.
Hey everyone, this is Bailey. I'm one of your past interns, and today I'm giving you a presentation on how to meal prep like a pro. So let's get into it. So first of all, what exactly does it mean to meal prep? So it's really essentially just kind of what it sounds, prepare your meals. So you plan and prepare meals and snacks in advance. Usually people choose to prepare about 1 week's worth of meals at a time, and it helps to portion things out. So a lot of times with meal prepping, there's measuring and weighing foods to ensure correct portion control. Why is meal prep helpful? So there are a lot of great pros to meal prepping. First of all, it saves money. It's a lot cheaper to be prepping your meals than to be buying things on the go a lot of times. It saves time throughout the week because you have all of your lunches or all of your dinners prepped in advance. You don't have to be making one every single day or every single night. It also is awesome because bringing your own meals means that you're going to have some delicious, healthy meals and snacks that are bariatric friendly, that you like, and it's really great for helping you stay on track and feeling successful. The cons to meal prepping are it takes time and planning, so that can be a barrier sometimes if you feel like you're not a very good planner or if you just have an extreme amount of things going on and you just have zero time to meal prep. It can be time consuming also depending on the types of recipes. So if you're making something a little bit more elaborate and complicated that has a lot of condiments or dressings and sides, that's going to take longer than if you make something simple like just like some chicken and steamed broccoli. There are 3 main approaches to meal prepping. So the first one is 1 time per week. In 1 time per week, you are prepping all of the meals that you want to, all in one go at the beginning of the week. Typically Sunday night is the most popular night that people choose to meal prep. So for that example, someone would prep either all of their lunches or all of their lunches and all of their dinners in one go, one night. Twice a week is where meal prepping happens twice a week, obviously. Usually for this, someone would meal prep like on a Sunday night and then on a Wednesday night. And once a day usually is the night before, and you will prep your breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the following day. So it's just prepping 1 day's worth of meals at once. Freezing meals is another approach. So some people like to make like a casserole without noodles, or some meals that freeze well are usually like crock pot meals, like some shredded chicken with beans and avocados. Those can freeze well. And then you just slide it out of your freezer, take it and go. The number of meals prepared also factors into how you meal prep. So even if you meal prep once a week, you might only make 5 meals. You might just make 5 lunches. Or you could make 5 lunches and 5 dinners, so that's 10 meals. So the number of meals is totally flexible, and that's a great thing about meal prepping is that you can totally tailor it to your approach, your eating, your lifestyle, and what works for you. So getting started, it can feel really overwhelming to meal prep, especially when you see people on social media or friends who do a lot of elaborate meal prepping. It can seem kind of scary to get started and start making tons of things all at once. So here are a few tips on how to get started. First of all, just pick 1 meal to prep, usually just lunch or dinner. Choose something easy to make. Now is not the time to pull out some crazy recipe you found on a blog that calls for a lot of expensive ingredients or ingredients that are really hard to find and rare. Just choose something you know how to make that you like. Pick something easy. Choose a day to prep. So for me, I always liked to do it on Sundays because being a student, that was a day where I had my homework done. It fit well into my schedule. It was an easy day. So pick 1 day that's good for you. Maybe it's a day you have childcare, maybe it's a day you have off of work. Then decide how much you want to meal prep. Maybe you want to make 3 lunches, maybe you want to make 5 lunches, maybe you're feeling super adventurous and you're going to make 5 lunches and 5 dinners. So decide how much you want to do. So here's a sample where I've filled it in. So how about we pick that we're going to do lunches to prep? And we'll do grilled chicken and steamed broccoli. That's something easy that I know how to make, and I pretty much always have some chicken and broccoli in my freezer. Sunday's a good day for me. That's a day that I'm not busy, a day that I have other things done, and so I have the time to meal prep without feeling stressed out. And I'll prep 3 lunches worth because I have 3 really busy days each week, and so 3 lunches are for those 3 days where my days are crazy and I don't have time to stop anywhere to eat. So let's pause and do a brainstorm activity. So why don't we think through some barriers or challenges to meal prep? Because there always is something that could be a barrier to meal prep. And then I want you to think about a challenge that you could figure out how to tackle. Maybe it's creating time. Maybe it's asking your partner to watch your kids for an hour so that you can sit down. Or maybe it's making a list so that you can grocery shop and have all the things on hand. So think through what might be hard about meal prepping for you and how could you maybe tackle that one thing. And then also think about a recipe that you enjoy making and eating. Maybe you have a favorite chili you make with ground chicken or something like that. Think of a recipe that you like to do. So there are a lot of great resources and planning for your grocery shopping and prepping your meals that we're going to go through now, because there's so many great resources that can help you get started and feel successful. So one of the ways you can do it is making a casserole. Make sure there are no noodles, because we do want to make sure that we aren't eating those starchy fruits and vegetables and the noodles that can swell in our stomach, those types of carbs. Another thing is roasting chicken with a foil divider. So you can see that in the bottom photo here. So you can put Cajun seasoning on one, some Italian seasoning on another, maybe leave another plain, or maybe mix it with some sesame oil and soy sauce, depending on the flavors that you want to have. Mixing and matching proteins and veggies is a nice way to keep it interesting. So maybe you make some tofu and some chicken, or some chicken and lean beef, and then steam up a couple of veggies, and then you can mix and match it to kind of keep it from being boring. Themed weeks I have found to be really fun if you pick a themed week and you can find new recipes that fit into that. Also, the bento box is a nice thing to do. I use that when I try to get rid of leftovers in my refrigerator. That's the picture on the top. So you see some proteins in one area, some veggies and fruits, and then I believe those are some nice salty olives in the middle with some healthy fats. So it's kind of a nice way to keep it interesting. There are also some awesome bariatric-friendly websites for recipes. So here are a couple listed here. And those are really great just to kind of keep it interesting and find other places that give you some inspiration, and find places that will show you great fun ways to, keep your protein interesting, keep your meat seasoned and flavorful, and also push those non-starchy vegetables. It's great to find stuff like that. Here are also a couple of cookbooks that we recommend that are great. And also YouTube is a great resource. So we're gonna watch this video.
Hi, I'm Grace, the Senior Food Editor at Kitchen, and today we're going to do a Power Hour meal prep, which is where I turn all of these groceries into an entire week of low-carb meals for two. Let's get started. I find it easy to prep an order of breakfast, lunch, then dinner, but because our chili takes the longest to cook, we're going to go ahead and get started with that. So I'm just adding the chicken to our chili, and we're just going to let this simmer until the chicken is cooked through. And meanwhile, we can prep the rest of our power. Now we can move on to breakfast, which is a veggie egg casserole, which we can make now super quick, and then we can eat it all week long. Now that the egg casserole's in the oven, we can move on to lunch, which is a double batch of tuna salad that we can turn into lettuce wrap or serve over a bed of arugula throughout the week. Perfect. Lunch is done. I like to hard boil eggs during all of my meal prep power hours because I can eat them at any time of day. So this week I'll probably eat them with the tuna salad for lunch. So the chicken is cooked through. We're just taking it out and we're going to shred it up and then return it to the pot, and it'll simmer for just a few minutes while we finish our dinner prep, which is just 2 more dinners, and then we're done with Power Hour. And that's it. In just 2 hours, I made an entire week's worth of low-carb meals for 2, and now all my cooking is done for the week.
There we go. So here are a couple of tips and tools for success. First of all, give yourself enough time. If you're meal prepping once a week, you want to have at least 1, usually 2 hours of total time. If you don't give yourself enough time, you're going to feel stressed out. It'll be a big time crunch, and then it feels more like a burden than something that's giving you a break throughout the week. Invest in some easy cleanup. I love having nonstick foil on hand, as well as parchment and crockpot liners. They make it so much easier. It doesn't leave your kitchen a huge mess. I love having that. A crockpot can be a great investment. You can find a cheap model for about $20 to $35 on Amazon. Also some great food storage containers that lock, a lunch box, and an ice pack if there's no fridge where you're working. And also buying a meal planning notebook can be really helpful. So it kind of sounds silly, but sitting down for just a few minutes to plan out your meals will save you a lot of time throughout the week, and it can also give you a little bit more purpose and aim when you go grocery shopping. So even if you just sit down, think through, what do I have in my fridge? What do I have in my pantry? What could I make with that? Oh, let me get a few more things. I could make my favorite casserole, or I could make my favorite spaghetti squash recipe. It really can help you save some time. You can also involve your family to make sure that they're meals that they enjoy too, if they want to give suggestions. And again, that really helps keep some creativity going, keeps the meals from getting boring. So here's an example I'm going to give you guys. So this is how I would meal prep, is I would think through what kind of lunches and dinners I wanted. So Monday was always my craziest day at school. I would be there 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. So I always needed to make sure that I had lunch and dinner. So for lunch, I would make zoodles, which is spiralized zucchini, with a tomato sauce and some chicken meatballs. And then for dinner, I liked to make a bento box so that I could munch on my snacks throughout my class. And I would always add in a protein shake with my dinner too, to make sure that I didn't get overly hungry and then end up getting junk from the vending machine. So make sure that you are getting in your protein, and a protein shake can always be a great addition to your meals. Tuesdays and Thursday, again, I would have the zoodles with some tomato sauce and chicken meatballs. And here on the right, you can see my grocery list. So it's pretty simple, but sitting down for that 1 hour to make these things made the rest of my week go so much more smoothly. Here's a sample week. So this approach has the same breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then a little bit of variety with snacks. Some people like this approach because they only make 3 meals, a couple of snacks, and it gets them through the whole week. So you can see that every day I get the protein shake with some fruit in the morning, spaghetti squash with chicken meatballs for lunch, and every dinner is the same. It's Fiesta beef with those spicy stuffed peppers. And then snacks rotate between some sort of protein with fruit or veggie sticks. This is the sample week, number 2. And so this one goes off of the plan of meal prepping twice a week. So for this, you would prep on a Sunday night and then on a Wednesday night. So Sunday night, you would prep the Greek yogurts for breakfast. Then you would do the turkey taco salads for lunch, the same snacks every day for those days too, the carrots, hummus, and protein shake, and then the same dinners. Then Wednesday night, you would prep all of the meals for Thursday and Friday, the scrambles, the cauliflower cheese soup, one of my personal favorites, some great snacks with cheese, protein bars, and then finally your last dinner. Here are some benefits that are bariatric specific to meal prepping. You can think about all of your meals in advance and be sure to incorporate protein at every meal. Protein is so vital to success in keeping your body healthy and strong. It keeps your bones strong, it keeps your muscles strong, it helps you heal, it helps you be successful and keep the weight off. Protein is so key. 70 grams a day, guys. It's also easier to track calories when your foods are prepped out and measured out. Sometimes you may think when you're making a salad that you'll just drizzle on a ton of dressing and before you know it, it's a quarter cup of dressing. But if you prep it out and you're measuring it into a container, you're making sure that you're staying on track and you're putting in the portions that you're supposed to be having. It also can help because then you see the food in the container and it can help you stick to proper portions. Sometimes seeing it is a good visual way to make sure that you're getting the right amounts. And lastly, let's go over the bariatric plate, your favorite, I know. Make sure that half of your plate is lean protein. Always eat all of your protein first. Then move on to your non-starchy vegetables. Green beans, broccoli, cauliflower, spinach, kale, whatever you please. And then some starch. And of course, fruit is acceptable as well. And there you have it, guys. Thanks so much for spending some time with me. I hope you all are staying safe and healthy and have a great rest of your week.